Robinson Crusoe was born in York, England, in 1632. His father was a successful businessman who wanted Robinson to study law. But Robinson had different dreams. He wanted to see the world and sail on big ships across the ocean. When Robinson was 18, he told his parents about his plans. His father was very angry. "The sea is dangerous," he said. "You should stay home and work in business like me." But Robinson didn't listen. He wanted adventure more than anything else. One day, Robinson left home without telling his parents. He walked to the port and found a ship going to London. The captain agreed to take him. As the ship sailed away, Robinson felt excited and scared at the same time. The ship sailed smoothly for 2 days. Robinson enjoyed watching the waves and talking to the sailors. He thought sailing was easy and fun. But on the third day, everything changed. Dark clouds covered the sky and the wind became very strong. The ship began to move up and down violently. Robinson felt sick and frightened. He had never experienced anything like this before. The storm lasted for hours. When the storm finally ended, Robinson was very tired. He began to think about his father's words. Maybe the sea was too dangerous for him. But when he saw the beautiful sunset over the calm water, he forgot his fears and decided to continue his journey. In London, Robinson found work on a merchant ship. The captain was a kind man who taught him about sailing. Robinson learned how to read maps, use a compass, and understand the weather. He was a good student and worked hard. The ship traveled to many countries. Robinson saw places he had only read about in books. He visited busy markets in Africa and traded goods with local people. He learned that business could be exciting when it involved travel and adventure. After several successful trips, Robinson saved enough money to buy his own goods. He was becoming a real merchant sailor. His dream of adventure was coming true, and he was making money at the same time. Robinson decided to sail to South America to trade with the Spanish colonies. He joined a ship with other English merchants. They planned to buy gold and silver and bring them back to England. The journey started well. The weather was good, and the ship sailed quickly across the Atlantic Ocean. Robinson felt confident and optimistic about the future. He imagined returning home as a rich and successful merchant. But near the coast of South America, their luck changed. Pirates attacked their ship during the night. Robinson and his friends fought bravely, but the pirates were stronger. They took all the goods and left the merchants with nothing. The pirates took Robinson and the other merchants to their base on a small island. The pirate captain was a cruel man who made them work as slaves. Robinson had to clean the ships and carry heavy boxes all the day. Life was very hard for Robinson. He missed his freedom and his family. Every day he thought about escaping from the island. But the pirates watched them carefully, and the island was surrounded by dangerous water. After 2 years, Robinson found his chance. One night, when the pirates were drinking and celebrating, he stole a small boat and sailed away. He was finally free, but he was alone in the middle of the ocean. Robinson sailed for 3 days without seeing any land. He was hungry, thirsty, and very tired. Just when he thought he would die, he saw a ship in the distance. It was a Portuguese merchant ship traveling to Brazil. The Portuguese captain was very kind. He gave Robinson food and water and listened to his story. Robinson was grateful for the captain's help. The captain offered to take him to Brazil, where he could start a new life. In Brazil, Robinson worked on a sugar plantation. He learned Portuguese and made friends with the local people. After a few years, he saved enough money to buy his own small plantation. Life was good, but Robinson still dreamed of adventure. Some merchants in Brazil asked Robinson to join them on a voyage to Africa. They wanted to buy slaves to work on their plantations. Robinson knew this was wrong, but he needed money to grow his business. The ship left Brazil with Robinson and 14 other men. They sailed towards the coast of Africa. Robinson hoped the journey would be quick and profitable. He planned to use the money to expand his plantation and become very rich. But God had different plans for Robinson. As they sailed north, the weather became worse. Strong winds pushed their ship far from planned route. They were lost in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. The storm grew stronger each day. Huge waves crashed over the ship, and the wind tore the sails. The sailors worked day and night to save the ship, but it was impossible to control in such terrible weather. On the morning of the 12th day, Robinson saw land in the distance. But the ship was moving too fast towards the shore. The waves were enormous, and the rocks looked very dangerous. Everyone knew they were going to crash. The ship hit the rocks with a terrible sound. Water rushed in everywhere. Robinson grabbed a piece of wood and jumped into the sea. He was the only person who survived the shipwreck. Robinson woke up on a beach. His clothes were wet and torn, and his body was covered with cuts. He was alive, but he was completely alone on an unknown island. He had no food, no water, and no shelter. Robinson walked around the island to explore it. It was quite large, with hills, forests, and beaches. He found fresh water in a small stream and some tropical fruits to eat. At least he wouldn't die of hunger or thirst immediately. As night came, Robinson realized he needed shelter. He climbed a large tree and made a bed with branches and leaves. He was scared and lonely, but he was grateful to be alive. He promised to work hard to survive. Robinson spent his first week exploring the island and looking for the best place to build a shelter. He found a good spot near fresh water and fruit trees. The location was protected from the wind and had a good view of the sea. He began to build a simple house using branches, leaves, and mud. The work was hard because he had no proper tools. He used sharp stones to cut wood and his hands to carry everything. It took him many days to finish his first shelter. When his house was ready, Robinson felt proud of his work. It wasn't beautiful, but it was strong and dry. He had a place to sleep and store his food. He was learning to live like the people who lived on islands long ago. Robinson knew he needed better tools to survive. He went back to the beach where his ship had crashed. Some parts of the ship were still above water, and he could take useful things from it. He found an axe, some knives, and a saw. There were also nails, rope, and canvas that he could use. Most important, he found a chest full of clothes and some books. He also took gunpowder and guns for protection. With his new tools, Robinson improved his shelter and made it bigger. He built a fence around his house to keep wild animals away. He also made a table and chairs from wood. His island home was becoming more comfortable. Robinson needed to find more food to survive. The fruits were good, but he needed meat and fish too. He learned to make traps for small animals and to catch fish with a net he made from rope. Hunting was difficult at first. Robinson had never learned these skills in England. But he was patient and practiced every day. Soon, he could catch rabbits and birds regularly. He also learned which plants were safe to eat. Robinson made fire by rubbing dry wood together. He cooked his food and dried meat for the future. He was becoming good at living in the wild. Each day, he felt more confident about his survival. Robinson wanted to remember how long he had been on the island. He cut marks in a wooden post every day. He also marked the weeks and months. This helped him feel less lost and alone. He tried to keep the same routine every day. He woke up early, said his prayers, and ate breakfast. Then he worked on improving his shelter or finding food. In the evening, he read his books and wrote in a diary using ink he made from berries. Robinson celebrated his first year on the island by making a special dinner. He cooked his best food and thanked God for keeping him alive. He was lonely, but he was proud of how much he had learned. Robinson found some seeds in his clothes from the ship. He decided to try growing his own food. He cleared a small area of land and planted corn and rice. He didn't know if they would grow, but he wanted to try. Taking care of his garden was hard work. He had to water the plants every day and protect them from birds and insects. But after several months, he saw green shoots growing from the ground. His experiment was working. When harvest time came, Robinson was very happy. He had grown enough grain to make bread for many months. He learned to grind the grain and bake bread in a clay oven he built. He had a steady supply of food. Robinson's clothes from the ship were old and torn. He needed to make new clothes to protect himself from the sun and rain. He used animal skins from the animals he hunted. First, he learned to clean and dry these skins properly. This was difficult and smelly work. Then he cut the skins into the right shapes and sewed them together using needles he made from bones. His first clothes were not beautiful, but they were strong and warm. Robinson also made a hat from leaves and a belt from rope. He looked very different from the young man who had left England years ago. But he was healthy and strong from his hard work on the island. After 15 years on the island, Robinson thought he was completely alone. But one day, while walking on the beach, he saw something that shocked him. It was a footprint in the sand, but it wasn't his footprint. Robinson was terrified. Someone else was on his island. He ran home and got his gun. He looked everywhere for the person who had made the footprint, but he couldn't find anyone. Maybe it was a visitor from another island. For weeks, Robinson was very careful. He stayed close to his house and watched the sea for boats. He didn't know if the visitor was friendly or dangerous. He prepared to defend himself if necessary. Robinson discovered that groups of cannibals sometimes came to his island. They brought prisoners from other islands and killed them on the beach. Robinson was horrified by this discovery. He watched them from a distance and counted about 30 men. They came in large canoes and stayed for a few hours before leaving. Robinson was terrified that they might find him and his house. He made his shelter harder to see from the beach. Robinson thought about attacking the cannibals, but he realized it was too dangerous. There were too many of them, and they knew how to fight. He decided to hide and wait for them to leave. One day, Robinson saw the cannibals bring 3 prisoners to the beach. 2 prisoners were killed, but the third one escaped and ran towards Robinson's part of the island. The cannibals chased him. Robinson decided to help the escaping prisoner. He took his gun and shot 2 of the cannibals. The other ran away in fear. The prisoner was grateful and knelt down to thank Robinson. He was a young man with dark skin and kind eyes. Robinson called the man Friday because he had saved him on a Friday. Friday couldn't speak English, but he was intelligent and learned quickly. Robinson was no longer alone on the island. Friday was a good student and a loyal friend. He learned to speak English and helped Robinson with all the work on the island. He was an excellent hunter and fisherman and knew many things about living in nature. Robinson taught Friday about Christianity and English customs. Friday was very interested in Robinson's stories about England and other countries. He had never seen civilized people before meeting Robinson. They spent many hours talking and learning from each other. After 2 years together, Robinson and Friday decided to try to leave the island. They built a large canoe and prepared food for a long journey. They planned to sail to the mainland and find a way back to England. Before Robinson and Friday could leave in their canoe, they saw a ship near the island. It was an English ship, but something was wrong. Robinson watched through his telescope and saw that some sailors were fighting. The ship's captain and 2 loyal sailors were left on the beach by rebellious crew members. Robinson and Friday rescued them and helped them take back their ship. The grateful captain promised to take Robinson and Friday to England. After 28 years on the island, Robinson finally sailed away. He was sad to leave the place where he had learned so much about life and survival. But he was excited to see his family and friends again. His great adventure was ending, but his memories would last forever.